Good morning, Cedar Valley. I'm Chloe Papadakis, and this is Thursday's Quiet Echo, built for adults, designed for profit, and optimized for addiction. 2 weeks ago, Virginia became the first state in the nation to limit social media use for kids under 16 to 1 hour per day. Not a suggestion. Not a guideline. A law. The reactions were predictable. Tech companies cried censorship. Free speech advocates filed lawsuits. Teenagers rolled their eyes. But here's what caught my attention: the silence from parents. Not outrage. Not celebration. Just a long collective exhale, as if someone had finally said out loud what we'd been thinking for years. I have a 4-year-old daughter. Elena isn't on TikTok yet. She doesn't know what Instagram is. But I watch her cousins, her older neighbors, the teenagers at the library, and I see what's coming. Heads bent over glowing screens. Conversations abandoned mid-sentence. That faraway look in their eyes. The statistics are brutal. Teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media face double the risk of depression and anxiety. Nearly 5 hours a day is now average. And 83% of parents believe their children's mental health is getting worse. We didn't need a study to tell us this. We can see it in our living rooms. Governor Youngkin's law requires social media companies to verify users' ages and automatically limit anyone under 16 to 60 minutes daily, unless a parent grants more time. It puts the burden where it belongs, on the platforms that designed these apps to be addictive in the first place. Of course, the lawsuits have already started. NetChoice, a tech industry group, argues that limiting social media violates minors' free speech rights. And they're not entirely wrong. This is a parenting issue. It always has been. But here's what the tech companies don't want to admit. They built their platforms to override parental judgment. Infinite scroll. Algorithmic feeds that learn what hooks you and serve you more of it. Push notifications designed to trigger dopamine. These aren't neutral tools. They're engineered to capture attention. As a parent, I'm supposed to compete with a billion-dollar algorithm using willpower and good intentions? That's not a fair fight. Other states are watching. New York's governor announced similar proposals this month. Utah already restricts late-night social media use for minors. The movement is growing. I'm not naive enough to think a law will fix everything. Kids will find workarounds. VPNs exist. Older siblings have accounts. But laws shape culture, and culture shapes behavior. We ban cigarette sales to minors not because it prevents all teenage smoking, but because it sends a message about what we value. We're finally asking whether childhood should include unlimited access to platforms built for adults, designed for profit and optimized for addiction. We're saying, your developing brain matters. Your attention is precious. These companies don't get unlimited access to your childhood. Elena asked me the other day why I sometimes stare at my phone when she's talking to me. I didn't have a good answer. The truth is, I'm fighting the same battle. I know what it feels like to reach for the screen without thinking, to scroll when I should be present. If I struggle with it at 28, how is a 12-year-old supposed to resist? Maybe the real gift of this law isn't the time limit itself. Maybe it's permission. Permission for parents to say no without feeling like they're the only ones. Permission to set boundaries that feel supported by something larger than their own exhausted resolve. 1 hour isn't a prison sentence. It's a starting point. A breath. A reminder that there's a world beyond the screen. Elena and I made cookies last weekend. No phones. No timers going off. Just flour on the counter and laughter when the icing got everywhere. It was messy and imperfect and exactly what childhood should be. 60 minutes of scrolling can't compete with that. Not really. Not if we remember what we're fighting for. That's your Thursday morning quiet echo from Cedar Valley. I'm Chloe Papadakis. They built their platforms for adults, designed them for profit, and optimized them for addiction. Let's build something different to childhood, designed for purpose and optimized for presence. Put the phone down today, even just for an hour. See what happens. The people you've met in these editorials, the whole Cedar Valley community first came together in quiet echo. When loud voices divide, quiet ones bring together. If you want to know how a small town found its way from fear to fellowship, one quiet act of courage at a time, you can find it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the show notes.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. from faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open.